Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me. Those on Instagram, those on Facebook, those on YouTube, and welcome again to another evening of In Review, where we look at what's your news. Yeah, what's your news? What's the top news or so? As I said all a while, many times, there's so many news that we can consider a top news. But what is your news? And we like to pick out a couple of the news to reflect on. There's so many things happening around the world, in the USA, in Jamaica, in the UK, and even in Leeds, isn't it, Gary?
Well, it's great again to be on the Seymour CDL show. It's great.
Yeah, and how are things there in Leeds?
Well, I'm not in Leeds at the moment, if you keep forgetting. But things are not doing too good up there, There was another stabbing
Yeah,
earlier on, or just over, well, I think it was yesterday. Today is what, Thursday? It's either Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but
mm,
there was another stabbing over the weekend. That was one, and then a shooting. There was a shooting in Chapeltown there.
yeah.
Some not very nice things are happening up here or in
Yeah,
Leeds.
yeah. There have been some very what should I say, interesting developments in the UK in regards to. I think there was something with a 12-year-old child or something like that, mowing down somebody, I believe, as well. And I think today there was supposed to be. I don't know if you heard it or I heard it or whatever. I don't know. I was busy today, but there was supposed to be this alarm that came up on your phone. Did you know that? It was supposed to be.
Oh, I've heard about it. It's not today. It's going to be later on. I think the 24th. I think
Ah,
it's the 24th of this month. If I'm not mistaken.
oh, is it 24? Because I was listening for it to see if there was going to be a law. And people were saying, are they expecting Putin to do something? So they're planning or something of that nature. And there was a man murdered pregnant wife by pushing her off Arthur's seat. Man has been jailed for a minimum of 20 years for killing his pregnant wife, pushing her off a 50 feet of cliff edge, Edinburgh beauty spot,
Yeah.
So it's very interesting that crime and all those things is not limited to anywhere. It is everywhere,
Everywhere. Yeah.
and sometimes we'll even touch base and say and maybe talk even about Jamaica to a certain extent. But when you check it out, it is everywhere. Crime is everywhere. Desperation. People are going crazy things mentally. Poverty and the devil. Oh, remember what I said? The devil. The devil. Devil,
Yeah.
But I think one of the first things is, which was very interesting, is the police, because the Met chief to sack police, and this has to do with that case report that came out of recent days, and the
Mhm.
case report reflected so many things regarding the police. I had a show with a lady called Pauline Campbell, which is on YouTube, and persons can check that out on YouTube in the studio, where we discuss it a bit about the police report and the fact that over the years, with the Macpherson report and all those sort of things, is like, has things changed? And they're saying maybe it has not changed as well as yet.
Yeah.
And there's, I don't know what's your take on it, Gary. Yeah.
I mean, are you telling me? Well, not you per se, but I mean, are they telling me that's only now that they could have done something about it when, look how many things have taken place over the past, let's say, 12 months, within the
Yeah.
last 12 months, if
Mm,
not 18 months, to make the decision that they're making now to
yeah.
address it. They had to allow all of this to happen,
Mm.
and then they decide they're going to get rid of over 100 police. I mean, that's it just does not make sense,
Yeah. And
because
yeah, keep talking, Gary. My apologies. Sorry.
because it's um it's not only now, Sylbourne, it's not only now that they know that there are certain police that's amongst their ranks that were not fit to be policemen. It's not only now they know that. I'm
Mm,
sure they know that. I'm sure they knew that.
mm,
But you see, again, it's who you know, is what you know, and probably they even hired some of these guys because of the information that they could have gotten to get in certain parts of society if there was criminality.
mm.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, because the picture which I have up there. Hi, I'm Michelle. How are you doing? Hi, Kim. How are you? Jump over onto the YouTube. The Police Commissioner, which is there, Sir Mark Rowley, said it is nonsensical. He does not have the power to sack staff, and he warned the forces has hundreds of people. And when I say hundreds of people, ladies and gentlemen, he's talking hundreds of police officers or so who shouldn't be here,
Yeah,
as cases of officers previously accused of violence against women are re examined. And Sir Mark said dozens of officers have been redeployed from tackling serious crime and terrorism to investigate wrongdoing in the force. And this is the recent report of Baroness Casey uncovered widespread racism, homophobia, and misogyny in the force and warned it may need to be broken up if it cannot be urgently reformed. Broken up, Gary. The police force, which is under special measures. I believe it's under special measures as well. You
I
know?
mean, look at um, if you read further down. I mean, they've given it as it was just a few figures really, but
Yeah.
246 will face no formal action. 689 will undergo new assessments to pursue new or missed lines of inquiry,
Mm.
and 196 face formal risk management measures. I mean, it's ludicrous, man, and I'm quite certain that that Sir Mark Rowley is not the first
Police.
commissioner to
Yeah.
have
Mm.
these figures on his desk.
Because I
I'm quite,
believe, sorry, Gary. Yeah.
no, I mean, I'm sure the one before him, which was was it Crusader Dick,
Uh,
and the one before her, knew all of these figures and they did nothing about it. Or
yes.
or is either that they did nothing or they were not allowed to do anything. It's
Mm.
one of two things.
Yeah. It's interesting. It is. Can you see now? Sorry, somebody. Yeah. It is very interesting. That particular point there. Gary, and it's over the years, and that is why Pauline Campbell had said, when I said, has things changed with all these different reports? It's like the reports are coming up on reports, and sometimes when you have these reports and all these inquiries, they just take up dust upon themselves, you know, because there's anger, disgust at the Met, but there's a positive future. What now for the Met? The clock is ticking. Rape case ruined, sick officers beard cut. Five findings from case review. The dark corner of the force is where Wayne Cousins worked. So therefore, it seems like, if we're not mistaken, the first thing that we'll do if anything happens is to call the police. Everyone will call the police. If somebody breaking the door, but then the police may need to call themselves to investigate themselves. But is that the right way forward according to Barney Scarcey report?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes you just don't know what to say. You don't know what to think. Really, things. You see, it's only for so long can you sweep things under the carpet
Mm,
because after a while, things will come out. Things will leak, and obviously, something happened why this came out at this point in time.
yeah,
Something happened because they just couldn't bury this one.
it
They
is. It
couldn't
is.
keep this one buried at all.
It is coming up like a stench in your face, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Yeah, because I was reading again, and sorry, I was reading again, and it said hundred of sexual and domestic violence allegations made against the Metropolitan Police Force officer requires investigation. The police chief said, "I need the powers to sack." So I was saying, how can you actually sack them? The Met Commissioner Mark Rowley announced the findings of the operation, which reassess the outcomes of cases involved more than 1,000 officers over the previous decade. There was a lady who was having some issues with the police, and she said, "I'm so scared of the police. I'm scared of actually when I see one of them or so, she gets scared." That's what she said, and she's wishing that somehow, somewhere along the line, that there could be a total overhaul of the police force. And and in the report here, it said, how can you actually, you know, sack the police? What happens, ladies and gentlemen? This is it. What happens when a complaint is made against a police officer in England and Wales? And I must say, and Gary, you know that because you got family in the force, and I got mate in the force, in the British force here, Scotland Yard. Sorry, you had if anything, and these were good guys. So it's not as if to paint the picture that all of them are bad, but each police force, they said, has a professional standards department which investigates complaints against officers. Minor complaints such as poor performance can result in a learning outcome, a discussion with the officer, followed up by a report. More serious complaints about behavior which breaches police standards, such as use of excessive force, can lead to a misconduct hearing. And a gross misconduct hearing results from a more serious allegation that could justify an officer being sacked. I'm not sure what the police commissioner is saying when he said, "I need the power to sack." Is it maybe that he need to be sacked? You need to have the power to sack instantly him, or he's got to go through the process? Because what they said is that each force has a professional standard department which investigate complain about its officers. Bedfordshire police officer, for example, was dismissed after shouting and swearing at a woman while off duty. Possible sanctions following a misconduct hearing include a written warning, a final written warning, a demotion, and dismissal. So I guess maybe the commissioner is wanting to circumvent all of that, Gary. Shut that down because that is only maybe dragging its feet, and these guys will be on for a long time. Maybe you think that's what he's actually saying. He wants the power to sack them. Met Chief,
Well,
Sir Paul.
again, that is ludicrous. How can a manager? Oh no, well, let us say, put it in terms of business. He is the CEO of
Yeah,
the Metropolitan Police. How can
yeah,
a CEO or a manager or whoever um, not be able to discipline or sack
his people.
his people? I
Mm.
mean, where have you heard that from?
From the British Scotland Yard Police Force.
It's, it's madness, absolute madness, and yet the Metropolitan Police wants the public to respect them.
Yes.
No, you earn respect. I mean, I don't think there's any family that is not afraid of the police, of the Metropolitan Police, or the police force if they have a son, a boy, a young
Mm.
boy in the family. Never mind girls. Now, if I mean girls, they will act differently around. They act very differently when it comes to girls. But
Uh,
boys,
uh.
they will stop and search, and do everything they can to destroy the very image of the boy.
Well. Talking about that, and I just put up here now because there's a petition which is going around. Ban under 18s being stopped and searched without parental consent. And what it is saying is that we would like the let me take this off. We would like the government to ban police from stopping and searching young people without the consent of a parent, This means that the police officer will not be able to stop and search people under the age of 18 without parent consent. Because
Well,
what some are saying is that what is happening at the same time with the searching is a form of a pedophilia.
well, you know what the police are going to do about that? Not unless they're doing something about it and we don't know. They're going to
Mm,
oppose that because
mm,
most of the boys that they are searching is well below that age.
yes.
Any of the boys or the young men, because once they reach 18, they're considered young men. What
Mm,
do you think they do with 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds? What do you think they do? They shoot them.
yes.
That's what they will do. So they will oppose the um the stop and search for under 18.
Mm,
I'm sure they will oppose that because that's what they because their argument is that the crimes, whether it is the knife crimes as well as the drugs on the streets, the knife crimes. Not well. I would have thought also the guns are also carried by that age group, but
yes.
it's the drugs that they would want to get at. So that is their age
Mm.
group. I would have supposed the under 18s.
What,
But once they get to 18,
yeah,
that's another danger
yeah,
because they're not going to be using the stop and search for 18-year-olds.
yeah. One of the things the police always say is that they need that the power to be able to exercise their duties, especially like with the I think with Mark Duggan, I don't think anything came out of that. With the Chris Cabba, we had it on a show a couple of weeks ago, whereby the police are going to be charged, and there's going to go through an investigation. And they say even though he's charged, that doesn't mean to, or a recommendation for him to be charged, or so. But what the police are actually saying, if you start to investigate and start to put us under pressure, without every time we make our move based on our suspicion or reasonable things, they're going to pull back and they're going to resign or so. And this is what Pauline was saying is that the police force is scared at the same time of losing their manpowers. So therefore, they are resistance to sacking persons. Ladies and gentlemen, you can watch a show with Pauline Campbell on my show, the Sylbourne Show, which was released a couple of days ago, where she sort of break it down a bit, and that is very interesting. And and when I'm looking at even the petition and just moving on from there, thousands of children are being strip searched, some not even in double digit year of age, with black children 6 times more likely to be strip searched, according to the Children's Commissioner. So they want to sign a petition. Petition is just on at 419 so far, Gary. That's the question again. How can it be at 419? But if they wanted another petition to have LGBT, whatever, it will reach millions already. Anyway, just drop that one quickly. Drop that one quickly.
Well, that is true, but at the same time, alongside that, where are they advertising that? Because I've never seen that.
Well, it
So
is.
where is it that they? So where is it?
Well, Joel Dredd sent it to me today, actually. And I said, let me just put it up. But as you rightly say, where is it? So I've actually done my bit here by flagging up this petition here, which saying on the government website, ban under 18s being stopped and searched without parental consent. But when I was thinking about the parental consent, I was thinking to myself again, Gary. So if the police stop someone who is 15 or 16, are they gonna where are they gonna hold the boy or the child? I'm gonna say boy. Where are they gonna hold the child until the parent come? Are they gonna release the child?
Well, you see, there's a lot of concerns
Mm,
that is being flagged up there, and that's one major concern. Now,
yeah,
they're not going to. I mean, you may get to the stage again where quite a few years ago, if you remember, the police arrested a young man, apprehended him, whatever, placed him he was then placed in custody, and they killed him in there.
yeah,
Now, now that may come back to haunt them again.
Yes.
because they just don't know how to handle our people. They don't have any you know um, any
Knowledge.
way of handling our young men.
Mm.
They just don't know. They'll see your son or somebody like my son and just think, well, he looks like a criminal. He looks like someone that is shady. Our sons don't know what it is to don't know what drugs look like, but yet because they look the part, then they're apprehended on the street.
Mm.
It's not a one-on-one situation. You've got a van full of people, or you
Yeah.
may have two police cars with two policemen in them, which makes them four.
Mm.
When our boys now begin to say, "Well, why are you stopping me?" or "Why are you doing this? What is the reason?" and the police are not willing to give any kind of explanation,
Yes.
and or they will then begin to make up some trumped up charge. Obviously, if it's not true, then our boys do resist.
Mm.
Anybody would resist.
Mm.
If they went even to their white boys, the white counterpart, they will resist.
As well. Mm.
They would resist any normal thinking individual, even if it was us. Right? You're in your 50s, I'm 60. And
Mm.
if a policeman came to me and
Yeah.
told me, "You look like a man, look like one of them pimps down the road."
Yeah.
Can you imagine me being stopped in my car and told me that I've got a pimp mobile? I've got a pimp mobile.
Yeah.
And then you know, they search me, they take out my wallet, they see I've got a bank card, they'll tell me, "Oh, you know, this is where I'm putting illicit funds," and
Yes.
all of that. Obviously, I'm going to be saying no. And by
Mm.
the time I'm saying no and I begin to resist, I'm in handcuffs, I'm on the floor, my face pressed up against the tarmac,
Yeah.
and then that is it.
Yeah. Well, 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 ladies and gentlemen, it's a very interesting topic, and rightly as Pauline had said, and rightly as I'm saying, and rightly as you'll say, is that we all need the police force because anything that happens, the first thing we call is the police.
Same. Yeah.
And we have had um good experience with the police so far. I remember one time I was stopped by the police. I think it was the first time I was stopped by the police, and they followed me, and it was a Sunday. I was with my wife and the children, and we're in the car, and they said, "Can you drive over into the supermarket and park up?" And then he said, "Is that your car?" I said, "Yes." "It is coming up that it is not insured." And I said, "That's strange." I told the guys them to renew it automatically, and it was correct. They said, "Well, we can't check it out, Mr. Sidiel, so we'll check it. Go and check it out with your people on Monday, anyhow." And guess what? It wasn't insured, Gary. They didn't roll it over.
Mm.
And the insurance company actually apologized, and they listened to it, and they came back to me about a few hours after and said, "We're going to send you a letter of indemnity to say that it was insured on the day when the police stopped me." So that was an experience there, which was the first time. And I thought I was saying it was something, maybe the car was driving or so.
Right.
But nevertheless, still, they didn't insure, and it was okay. So many people have their share of it, but either way, all these findings which are happening, the Casey report, the McPherson report, this common report, all these things, it seems like nothing has actually changed. And therefore, what Pauline and I was saying the other day when we had our show, it is time to listen. To listen
Well,
and act.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, I don't know if you are reflecting back on what we said. Was it last week or the
Mm.
week before when we said that all of these reports, all of these inquiries, all of these writing of whatever, and in hundreds of pages, even we you mentioned this professional. Is it Tony Sewell?
Tony Sewell, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, who did a report. It may not have been on the police. However, the point is that all of these reports are being written. yes, and nothing is being done. It's inquiry after inquiry
Yeah.
after inquiry,
Mm.
and nothing changes.
Yeah.
Obviously, the public, and more specifically, our community, will and is going to get fed up. And one of these days, yes, one of these days, and I hope it really doesn't happen, but it will happen. And
Mm.
I think the police knows it's going to happen one day,
Yeah.
that there is going to be a reaction, that the police and the authorities will not like it. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not in favor. I do not condone violence. I do not condone um, protestations that turn out to be violent. But
Yes.
that is what it happens in society anywhere in this world. Most
Mm.
and you can look at it in Paris. You can
Yes.
look at it in South America. They're one of the countries they're protesting there. In America, there are protests. In
Mm.
other areas of the world, there are protests. Why? Because there's inquiry after inquiry after inquiry. There is, they say, you've got the freedom to 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 um to protest, or or there are avenues that can be used to
Yes.
show your displeasure in certain things, but
Mm.
nobody takes notice.
Yeah.
Nobody takes notice.
Yes. Well, we hope that somehow things will be rectified with the police, and we'll have to keep putting the pressure and supporting the commissioner, because it seems like he wants to make a difference. Um, I don't think I've ever heard a commissioner say he wants a power to sack, and it reached to the point. So I don't know. Have there been? I don't know, Gary. I mean, have there been? But anyway, in moving on from that, there's been some great, I won't say great, but massive developments going on in the world here, because as you can see, Donald Trump has been indicted. Your mate, is he your mate? Your mate.
My mate.
you know, I was during the course of leading up to the election, and during the course of time, I was just peed off with the Democrats, and I was saying Trump is a man and everything like that. I think Trump shouldn't run again, but I believe at the time that Trump ran, he did a lot of things. But the whole thing regarding this Trump saga, and when you look at it with Braggs, the guy who brought the charges, or so, one could say it has the whiff and the smell of politicization, like they're politicizing the whole thing. And there's a picture which has been shown of Bill Clinton, and said, "Hang on a second, you mean to say they can actually indict former presidents for lying and paying money?" I don't know if I found the picture of it. Bill Clinton face, and then somebody put the writing. Can they really indict former presidents? So maybe he's also worried now.
Well, I mean, but that cartoon or that caption has mileage, because if
Yes.
they do that to Trump, then why haven't they already done it to Bill Clinton? Why
Well,
don't they bring Bill Clinton into the picture and indict him for what
mm,
he did?
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, it is there for the taking, and whosoever is a lawyer who maybe wants to push that down the road, um, we can see this. I think somehow that Trump, I think he loved these things, Gary. I think he loved these things, because right now, if I'm running for president, look at that. He's in his red tie. He's getting 100% coverage, free of cost, Gary. And leading up to the election, if he actually stand in election, he's going to be getting coverage every single second of the way, Gary. Every single step of the way, he's going to be getting coverage. And you wonder if he actually relish these things, if he loved these things.
There are people, you know this, I'm sure you've met people. There are people
Mm,
who enjoy and they thrive and they grow
mm,
with this kind of pressure. Now, probably ordinary people like you and I, if
Gary,
we had,
you're not ordinary, but speak for yourself. You're not ordinary, but carry on.
no, no I mean, take for instance us,
Yeah.
right? If we had the same charges
Mm.
drawn up against you and I, do you believe that you would be driven in and out, whether it by Uber or whether it by some kind of taxi or or chauffeur driven um, business or whatever? Do you think that you'd be driven in and out just like Trump, and then allowed to go home to wherever we live to have to have the dinner that our
Gary,
wives cook for us?
Gary,
No,
Trump is the ex-president.
no. You see, somebody said, I think it was the lawyer for whoever is representing, um, um, the person who's bringing the charge. It says the law, nobody is above the law. So if
Mm.
nobody's above the law, why then is Trump being treated that way? Because if it was you, you wouldn't be allowed to go home.
Yes. Yeah. I think how they're looking at it is that, and many people are actually saying that even persons on the Democratic side are actually saying this guy brags somehow his whole career has been trying to take Trump down or so. And many people have this about taking the Trump down because what they do not want him and what they fear is that he's gonna come back and he's gonna run again and he's gonna you know overall or remove so many things and that's their worry. That it's like Trump has been somewhat still the a key person that Biden is a nightmare for them to a certain extent. I don't think he should run again, but if he wants to run again and the Americans want him to run again, what am I? you know?
Really, my thoughts on Trump running. Trump may be doing this. I don't really know where DeSantis, the governor
Yeah, for Florida,
for,
yes.
for Florida.
That's Michelle's governor, yeah.
I believe that Trump may be doing this to get DeSantis in. And then when he gets to a certain number, he could just step down. He could just step aside, let DeSantis go through
Yes,
and and be the nominee. That's just what I think.
yes.
That's what I think. I mean, Trump may not do that. He may just go all the way. But failing all of that, I think that probably that's what I would have done. You know,
Yeah.
under the circumstances, he's done it already. He's been president.
When is the next when is the next UK US elections?
Next
Um
year, I mean, it starts
Next year. Wow.
it starts in January, doesn't it? But yet
Yes,
the polling begins down
Twenty
in November.
20. Yeah, 2024, the 2024 United States presidential election will be the 60th congressional presidential, November the 5th,
Right,
2024.
right.
And it's very interesting that they said the next hearing on this case is going to be in November, you know?
Yes.
So what Trump people are actually trying to do, they're actually trying to get it dismissed totally. That's what they are actually pushing for, to get it dismissed totally. So, well, I don't want to spend time on Trump. I'm more fascinated by what has been happening in. Have you got anything more to say about Trump? You got anything more to say about Trump?
No, I mean it's quite interesting to see what's going to happen here because I don't.
Mm,
A lot of people expect Trump to be found guilty, and I think even it may come down to the very wire. It may come down to the very wire, my brother.
yeah,
But at the same time, I will not be surprised if he gets off. Just on
yeah.
a
Well,
technicality.
yeah,
Just on a technicality.
yeah. Well. They said that he won't go to prison. It's not a prisonable thing. Even though another report is saying he can serve up to 130 years if found guilty. Uh, but I wouldn't be surprised. And I always say this all the while. I say this all the while, even during Trump time when everybody's going at Trump. I said the best way to deal with Trump. And the best way to actually counteract Trump is actually ignore Trump. Is ignore him. But if you keep actually going at Trump, it's like that movie. I don't know if it was Independence Day, one of those movies which were going on. Is that every time they attack the alien ship, they said, wow, it was getting bigger and it's getting bigger and it's getting bigger. And the more they keep attacking Trump, is the more he's going to get bigger and his base is going to get stronger. And everybody's actually saying this is a whiff of it is being deemed to be
Politicized.
political
Yeah.
or so. And that's one of the things. So yeah, so we watch his space. And interestingly, with America, what is happening with this? All these other countries are actually pulling together and coming together as one. And America now, I mean, Biden, oh my days, that's one of the weakest presidents in America. So many things are just happening under his watch, under Biden's watch. So many things happening under Biden's watch, and it's a doggone shame
Well,
at the same time, Gary.
well, I've heard, and I'm sure you've heard it also,
Mm.
that um, that it's really Obama behind the scenes.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
that I've heard it being said that it's all that Biden is doing is really Obama pulling the strings. Now, okay,
you think so? What does Michelle think? Well, Michelle is of the view that this is all a distraction. They want us to focus on Trump as part of the agenda to keep people distracted. Well, the key question is distracted from what? Distracted from who? Is it the fact that they found aliens on the moon and Armstrong is saying, if I say what I know, they would kill me or so like that? Gary, listen, man, there's so much things coming out. And the only thing I noticed nobody's talking about is that Jesus is coming soon. No,
because
I laugh. I do laugh because so many people say, I'm going to do this. I'm going back to Africa. We're going to build Africa. And I'm saying, hang on a second. All of that. But nobody's actually relishing the fact that God is coming soon. But maybe people don't believe in that, you know? So one has to look at things in certain perspective. I don't know, Gary. I just switched it a while ago.
well, I mean, how well you're right. How many people? How many of us? How
Mm.
many? How many? When even when you look, if
Yes.
there are any Christians out there, any Christian that listens to you right now, and probably, as my friend would say, there are many in the bushes out there. They listen to you, but you don't know they're there, Silver.
Yes.
But
Yes.
but I'm saying, how many Christians out there listen to um, Christian ministries, churches,
Mm.
fellowships on
Mm.
YouTube, on the very well, YouTube, Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram, all
Yes.
of these platforms. How many ministers out there is really preaching or teaching or even saying in their blogs, Jesus is coming soon?
Uh,
How many?
I don't.
You
I think.
don't hear
I think
anything.
most of everything is more motivational.
Well, it's down to motivational speaking. It's down also to
Yes.
raising of finance. It's down also to pushing convocations and meetings and all of these things to highlight themselves and their ministries and all that they're
Yes.
doing. Nobody is really pushing the point that
Mm.
the Messiah is coming again. This
Mm.
weekend, it's all about the crucifixion, the
Yeah.
burial, and the resurrection of the Lord. After this, you won't hear anything else. Nothing else
Yeah.
will be said about.
Well, well. Do not be surprised if it's all about Easter bunny and Easter eggs at the same time, and that take precedence over, and and that is something that will take some level of precedence.
True.
Because somebody was saying about eggs and all. I said, I'm Jamaican, man. I'm not into eggs, man. I'm into I'm into bun and cheese. I into eggs and running up and down and fine. I'm so glad my children are not so fussy about these things. You know what I'm saying? You know, a friend of somebody was saying to me that even our big children want eggs. But listen, I want to touch on Jamaica I have to touch on Ziggy Marley a bit because this is very interesting. This is dear to my heart. I don't know if you have been. Let me take it off. I don't know if you have been following certain news clippings in Jamaica, and the news clipping is actually saying that Ziggy Marley, who is in Jamaica for the filming of one of his a movie about Bob Marley, went to a particular uh, villa, like an Airbnb to rent, and they said it is only for Jamaicans. It is not for Jamaicans or so. So he said he was discriminated. At the same time, the the Airbnb said we did not discriminate or so. This is a lie or didn't go well. And they said we also had Rita Marley there some time ago. And Gary, as I said on my video, I'm not being facetious. I'm not being disingenuous. But anytime I hear things like that, it's like somebody in the UK who is racist big time. And then they say, I got black friends. I got black friends. So they're using so I'm just saying they're using the Rita Marley, if anything, as a way to say, hey, we are not like that. Because the report if I say the report is that Ziggy Marley, the eldest son of reggae icon Bob Marley and an 8-time Grammy Award winner, has accused a luxury villa on Jamaica's north coast of discrimination. Marley, who recently wrapped up filming the Paramount Studios Marley biopic on the island, said he attempted to book the Sea Salt Villa at Old Fort Bay near Ochuris. I'm so glad they say near Ochuris. Everybody tried to say Ochuris. Gary, it's not in Ochuris. Everybody like to jump and says Ochuris.
Where,
You know what I mean?
where is it?
Even if so, Old Fort Bay is near Mommy Bay. Everything. Even if it's Montego, Runaway Bay, blah blah blah.
Near
They keep saying it. They keep saying it's Ochi. It's not Ochuris, man.
even even
I say, uh,
even if they said it's down Port Royal, it's nowhere
yeah,
near Ocherous, is it?
nowhere near Ochuris. Even the Buscabel Air Zone or airport, whatever they say, Buscabel Ochuris. And listen, they have to say near Ochuris. Why didn't they say near Montego Bay? Sorry, near Sentence Bay, near Ochuris. Try to give Ochuris a bad name. Anyway, but the owner allegedly refused because he did not rent his property to Jamaicans. And they said, however, when Dancehall Mag, this is the paper, contacted Seasol for response to Ziggy's allegation and to confirm whether or not Jamaicans are blacklisted from staying at the property, a manager said the singer's account of the matter was absolutely inaccurate.
Inaccurate.
Inaccurate, and he's still welcome to stay at the villa on the condition that he follows their rules. Ziggy had discussed the matter with Cabo on RFM this morning on the Africa Forum running titled The Privatization of Jamaica Beaches. According to the singer, he could now relate firsthand to the discrimination by many Jamaicans have complained about, as similar treatment had been meted out to him. Discrimination, Gary. Discrimination
But that
in
has
Jamaica.
always been there. I mean, I remember,
Yes,
as a young boy, as a boy going to school there. That
yes.
was that.
Khaki pants, short khaki pants.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, listen. Again. I mean, to know that he is the son of a national hero.
Yes,
Bob Marley traveled the
yes.
world, put put putting Jamaica on the map,
On the map. Yes,
through his songs, and Bob Marley's songs were not Fenke songs; they were real to life situations that he experienced or he saw, in Jamaica and around the world
yes.
when it came to black people. He probably is like a Martin Luther King, only he was able to sing the songs,
Sing the song. Yeah.
you know. And let me put something, a fame to claim here. I mean,
Mm.
when we used to walk to school, go to school during the day. We used to see Bob Marley, not every day, but many times
Yes.
he would drive and pass us and we would wave and he would wave back. And
Yeah.
Tough Gong was just up the road where we went to school on Hope Road there anyway.
Oh yes, yes, yes,
and
yes.
everybody knows that he was a football player and he loved soccer or he loved football.
Yes.
So to have his sons now grown up, whether it's in Jamaica, which I do believe they were, but now they are able to travel and to live overseas or wherever. Them coming back to their island, to their home, why are they being discriminated against?
Mm.
Why won't they just welcome them? Because that in itself would also be an advertisement for others. If they want non-Jamaicans to come to rent and either to use their beaches, to rent their villas, to use their hotels, that would be a good advertisement to get others from the outside, the
Yeah,
Americans, the Europeans, the Asians,
yeah, yes.
the Japanese, to come and
To Jamaica.
to Jamaica to stay. Now they're saying they don't want Jamaicans there, and it's happened. It's happened. This is not an
Well,
overnight thing.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
years in the making.
yeah. Well, Gary, I recall I used to do break dancing, and we used to go down to the hotels. It was Americana or Mallard Beach Hyatt, and
That's
those
when
Mallard
that's
Beach.
when you had hair on. That's when you had
And that's what I had here. That's what I had here. Intercontinental, and I remember we used to go to the beach. Turtle Towers. Turtle Towers were always open. We used to go to the beach regular, normally Black Americans down there. We used to meet up with them and everything from Otrus, and then they became all inclusive. And when they started becoming all inclusive, the security guards now stopped us
mm,
from going there, but also going to the beach because you had to go inside there because the beaches are now locked off. So you have to go to the Otrius Beach or Turtle Tower Beach or something like that. But nothing is wrong with that. Beach is beach. And then we have to say to them sometimes, "You talking to me, man? You talking to me, man?" You put on an American accent or so, and they get frightened because at that time they never had this thing on your hands.
right, right.
They look at badges on your hands, Gary. So so the the thing about the discrimination which became rampant is that the discrimination was our people against ourselves, our people against us. It is like sometimes, even sometime on BBC, sometimes they will have you on BBC talking about some political program, and they will pit two black persons against two black person against another black person, and therefore, even in the UK here, Gary, I think we have been discussing this for a while. The Home Secretary is is Asian. The Prime Minister is Asian. The Foreign Secretary is black. And the policies which are coming up, many people are actually saying is that people of color are becoming are the face of these draconian, discriminative, racist policies. And then somebody can say, "They're not being racist. They're black. They're Asians." So therefore, what has been happening over the years in Jamaica? What I'm seeing is that the front of the hand of discrimination or racism is meted out by our same people against our people. The bit with the recent what should I say, the rafters in Otrus. Okay, people are saying that they are they are been crime has been going on there and rape and blah blah blah. But it was the police who came against their own people. It was the system or the authorities who were destroying the raft of the persons. When in Kingston, when they actually is having food selling out there in the marketplace in Kingston, it was the black man or the same authorities sending the black man to destroy the people's food, destroy their grocery, destroy their stuff which they're there to sell. So what's going to happen? Are these people are going to get mad and angry, mad, sick, angry, and turn on themselves? Because when these people that are not able to actually fend for themselves, help themselves, they're going to turn on the same people around. Not Andrew Holness, not the Minister of Finance, not the Ed Bartlett. They're going to turn on the people close to them, Gary.
Well, again, that's almost to what I'm saying again in relation to what's happening here in the Met. against
Yeah.
our black boys or against our community. It's only so much people can take, and
Yeah.
and it's sad that, as you were there talking, I remember the
Yeah.
times when we used to, because we were, living in Kingston there. There were
Mm.
times we would drive up to Ochi there, park the car, because they were
Yeah.
right by the clock. I'm sure you can remember this. As you come to Fern Gully and go all the way down to Ochi,
Yes.
as you enter, opposite, just across the way from the clock, was an
Mm.
open car park. Was
Yes.
open, so people could park on the car
There. Yes.
park, yes, and just
Mm.
walk to the beach. The beach that was just an open place. I mean, it was as
Yeah.
open as the park, any park in the United Kingdom here.
Yes.
You
Yes.
could park the car and you just walk to the beach and you just
Yeah.
spend the whole day, the whole evening, the whole night there. Didn't have a problem. There was no problem because just across the way there was a shopping center, and that's where the buses for Kingston and everywhere used to stop. Now you can't do that. You
Mm.
can't you can't enter any beach in Orchard because, as you just said, they've blocked it off.
They blocked some. And Michelle just mentioned a point, and she said, "I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes our own people are more prejudiced than the other
Well,
race.
yes.
So,
Well. Listen. I mean, you know this. I know this, and Jamaicans know this. If you are dark skinned and you are educated, or you've done, or you got whatever you've got, when you go to, and if you're light skinned and don't have anything, the light skinned individual will get the job because them
mm,
light skinned, them high color, as they would say. Whereas
mm.
the darker complexions really do not get a look in. So that, in a sense, is even there in Jamaica. Every Jamaican knows that.
You said something a while ago. That everybody knows that it's like there's these open secret or these open things that we all know. So when the thing with Ziggy came up, the average Jamaican is saying, "Hey, we don't know that. That happened all the while.
Exactly.
Finally feel it. It's
Exactly.
nothing new.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. Stillborn. It's not new.
it's nothing
It was
new."
not new. So we just live with
Wow.
it. We just live and deal with
Wow.
it. It
Wow.
wasn't a problem.
Wow. And therefore the whole aspect of the beach is another thing. I have this group which I have on Facebook, which is called Facilitators for Better Jamaica. And I put it in the group to say that it would be great for us having some discussions without the advent of the JLP or the PNP, to have some sort of discussion. Are you ready, Vanessa? Let me see. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Put your hands up in the air. If you're ready, Vanessa, put your hands in the air. Wave to me. You ready? Okay. I got Vanessa want to join in. Hey, Vanessa, how are you?
I am fine.
Hello,
It's
Vanessa.
like you jump on late because you hear one particular topic you want to
Yes,
talk.
about Ziggy Marley something, and as
Yes,
usual, my opinion can be a bit controversial. And
with the
people,
business. More you say it. That's why. Even though we're closing off now, but you go on, talk. Gary, you finished talk.
Absolutely.
Vanessa,
Reverend, good night.
Good night. Good night.
All
Good to have you.
protocols
Good to see
observed,
you.
and I will be well behaved in the presence of the Reverend. No, I want
Go
to
ahead,
ask some
Vanessa.
questions. I'd like to
yes.
start with asking some questions. Where does Ziggy Marley live at the moment? Where him live? We know people pretend like them live at Jamaica, but them live at a place. Where does Ziggy Marley live?
Me don't know where me live.
I
Does he live
don't
in
Africa,
know.
America? Does he live
Ghana.
in America?
I think it was in. I think it's Africa or Ghana or something like that. They all went to. I don't know. I don't
All
know.
right,
I
all
don't
right.
know.
Him live in Africa. Let me ask, what does international law say about where you're born? You know, when somebody when they try to deport you from somewhere, if you go to Africa and
Mm,
you take on residence there, I know about the whole slavery thing and that yes, if you go to Africa, they kind of accept you and you have to go through the process to become um you have to take a different process to get documents for Africa. It's not like us that if you're born in Jamaica, you just pull out a form and you go. You have to do layers of processes to get
Yes.
your state because we were taken away from the motherland. And by virtue of
Mm.
international law or the world system, no, where you're born is who you are in terms of your nationality. Okay,
Yes.
so unless you're and after you finish that process, you become. So I don't know what process he has gone through to get what
Mm.
he has gotten in Africa and possibly in America as well.
Mm.
And Ziggy Marley, if I believe so, he was born in Jamaica.
Mm.
Um, he was born in Jamaica. I think, if I'm thinking right, he was born in Jamaica. We
Mm.
know he's the son of Bob Marley, right?
Mm.
But I asked him where he was born, because if anything, nobody can deport him out of Jamaica because that's where he was born. And them can deport him out of Africa because I like to get on the technicalities and we all like to get sensitive and say we are black, belong in Africa. Nothing is wrong with it. I'm one of those
Yes.
people who would want to live in Africa right now, and if you allow me. Another thing I
Yes.
want to ask you is is Ziggy Marley married to a Jamaican? I have a series of questions.
I think he's married to a white lady, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I don't
And I
know.
would like to also get to another point. Which one of the Marleys are married to any Jamaican? And another thing I would like to ask, it's just questions, because I sit down, and I did get emotional and say, yes,
But,
ready
but
for fight.
hold on,
Because,
hold on. Guys, Ziggy blocked you a while ago because we couldn't hear nothing from you for a second ago. I just said,
well,
start again.
him
Start again.
powerful,
Yeah.
because Bob Marley is like a god and him a god picnic,
Yeah.
For him father is the god of reggae and my father is the god of guitar, even though
Yeah.
nobody don't know it, reggae
Yeah.
guitar.
Yes.
You see, so my father invented the bass that you have in reggae today
Yeah.
with sliding bar, invented the
Rancy
drum.
McLean. Yes.
So I feel like I have a good place to start, and also I come from a legal background and a social background. So I have to ask a series of questions before I jump on it. Which one of the Marley?
And those questions you're asking, they're rhetorical questions in a way, isn't it? Because we might not know some of those answers, isn't it?
No, you're not. I don't expect you to know the
Okay. Okay.
answers.
Good.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just asking the questions because, take for example, all right, I know, was it him that was married to Lauren Hill and gave her 5
I
children?
think it's another. Is it him?
It's not Ziggy.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think you
No,
go on. I can research.
You can Google,
I can
Reverend, somebody
I
can
can
go and
research.
Google it for me
Yeah.
and give me, because he subsequently divorced her, I think, and married, is it a Brazilian or a light-skinned woman?
Mm.
Um, whilst I am for one, love as his father said, and so on and so forth. Another thing I want to ask, why are you renting, even though I can decide that I am leaving from foreign and I have a home down here and I just want to go to Sandals to have that experience? But I want to question, how Ziggy Marley not own one villa beside the one where I rent?
You know what? I did a video.
Of the same ilk and caliber.
I did a video and I said the same question. Somebody said Roland Marley was the one that was married to Lauren Hill, involved with Lauren Hill.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
Rowan.
Oh,
But it's not him.
involved. Yeah.
Get to
Yeah.
it.
I said it the other day that instead of many people making noise, what Jamaicans should be doing, and I said like Ziggy Marley and the Marleys should be having their own villas all over the country. And secondly, I said Jamaicans, and I gave it for free. And I said, because I'm not going to do it, I said somebody need to actually create a website to name and shame villas which practice that sort of thing. The discrimination.
Or we go on the travel review.
And the travel,
We go, there's a
yeah,
travel review that is and make and give a negative opinion
yes,
of these places who are going around. And but at the same time, I'm still picking my bone with the Marleys, because the other day they had something for their father. They had Bob Marley birthday. It used to be at the museum. The museum, it seemed, is too small, and every year I used to go to that event. And when I went there, I saw other people representing for Bob Marley. The kids did not play a dominant role, and they moved it out of the museum, and they brought it down. Miss Babsy Grange brought it down. Minister Grange brought it down to Emancipation Park. Julian Marley, who is always amongst the people, because you know say me tick up in a music, for the time being, me tick up bad in a music. So everyone look at music, one look at Pananak, either them put me in it virtually or me physically in it. Julian Marley is always everywhere amongst the people. Very down to earth character. But I couldn't help but to notice
that's
when they have this event, for Bob Marley, Julian Marley was the one performing. and then them have to call out about 3 or 4 times for the Marleys them come out looking unrehearsed,
Mm.
um, and them never prepared apart from Julian that give a solid. And the whole of them was backstage because I think Rowan Marley's son had died and them did come down for the funeral.
Mm.
So them never really come for this thing, a celebration of the culture and them father. The part of the culture that them take, it seemed to be the part that they get some kind of monetary compensation
Mm.
from.
Mm.
Let me tell you something. He that is given,
So much.
what you say?
If
Much.
so much is
He that is given much is expected
expected
of
of
him. And where you inherit something, like my father is a musician, and I went into law. Yes, I'm still in law. But I went into law, and I thought I could really get away from music because it is such a public profession, not much different from law
yes.
in another sense. But the more I tried to get away from the music, was the more as my father died, I keep hearing his voice in my ears playing songs. And then I said, okay, let me get into music for the sake of helping artists. And the more I helped the artists and they found out that I had a little voice, everybody came for me. And I realized that my gene and my inheritance meant I had to represent,
Yeah.
and that it was not coincidental that I have come into the music and come from a political and a legal background because I can represent. No, I'm not criticizing the Marleys because their mothers as well. Some of their mothers are not Jamaican, so they're of mixed heritage.
Yes.
And so therefore they represent more than one culture. And I, who is a full Jamaican, may not understand the reality of why they would say, let me go to Africa because it's easy to default to Africa. Um, and then, I mean, my mother may want me to marry a certain type of woman. My father is not here. And this is how I look. So do I marry a woman based off how I look? Based off my mother, what people, boys follow their moms, you know. I don't know about the Marley girls who they are married to their husbands or so on. I don't know. But they tend to follow their mothers. And if you look at a man, him kind of married to the mother shape, just like, you know, the woman or your wife looks Sylbourne. If you
Mm.
look at Mama Sylbourne,
Mm.
baby, she look like Shelly. Sorry to pass in the business. And
Yeah.
likewise, Redbreast. So I am saying that I don't want to criticize them. But like me, they will know that something is going to happen to them that will make them take stock and know that your inheritance and your genes, all the gifts that God has given you, you cannot even say, people even want to say reggae music is African. And so reggae music cannot be truly African. And a lot of people will not like what I say
Mm.
because Jamaicans have white blood, they have Indian blood, they have Chinese
Well,
blood,
let's say out
they
of
have a
many one
mixed
people. Yeah.
heritage.
But
They are out of many one people.
yes.
And so therefore, the reggae music is from Jamaica with all the mix up blood and some aspects of different cultures in the and the, all the, and even the British, even the British who were our colonizers, and some of them who are good people, not all the
Mm.
British who are horrible people. So I mean, we have a mixed heritage. So when the English people say that they want to claim parts of reggae, and the man who is doing the Bob Marley film now is British and so on, because the British have been
Yeah.
instrumental to the
Yeah.
promotion of our music.
But
So,
yeah, go on. But I want to.
so for
Yeah,
me,
go on. Go on. You say,
all I want to say, Sylbourne, is that Ziggy Marley and all the Marleys, let me tell you something. You see, some way, if we're not careful, you know, when we come at Jamaica, they're going to throw dirty water power. You know, like when we talking now.
yeah.
Because we gone take up in another place and forget we roots. And then we know one not in Jamaica. What I would say that send him back up Uncle Sam, because you never know, so you have to come back a yard. If anything I hear, so you have to come back.
Okay.
I hear so you
Okay.
better
So
roots.
what you're saying, you're not speaking into the discrimination. You're speaking into your tiff with the Marleys, the fact that they don't own or have villas, which they could have, but maybe they wanted this sea salt place. I don't know.
God make it happen, because then also they are to know that the type of music that their father sing was a revolutionary music. And Jamaica right
Yeah.
now, even the reggae music, apart from them who is a protected class, because as me said, them a God pickney. Bob Marley is seen like a
You
revered
heard
as a
me, I
God.
got picking in me, I got picking it.
A God literally, because some people take Bob Marley like a
Yeah.
God or a prophet or
But
something. So them
yeah,
are descendants of God, even though
yeah,
we all are. But I
yeah.
am just saying
Mm.
that, they must understand that the lineage, they are princes and
Yes.
queens
Yeah.
from that family. You're not going to get away from the representational aspect of that which your
Yes.
father, because sometimes your father calling follows you, Ziggy and all. So Ziggy, I think Ziggy, what props to Ziggy. Ziggy catch up on himself.
Mm.
And him say, what the hell I take into my father's ways. And it ended with him coming out. But let it be a lesson that our culture, when you Sylbourne, I can get into more politics because I am an administrator of a group of over 10,000 people now for the promotion of music,
Mm.
not of myself.
Yeah.
But I have also noticed something else that the Marleys, that I would like to ask the Marleys about. And I don't know if it's them or the minister of culture or you and Reverend I need to ask, because maybe we don't have some answers for me. Right now, when I look at the representation of female reggae,
Mm.
right? Somebody like me with a master's in law, and I'm not boasting, I had to go and take up my broomstick and start singing. Because when you look internationally at the people who are booked for festivals, right now the dominant female in reggae is a lady named Queen Omega from Trinidad.
Trinidad.
She's on every major festival as
Mm.
the senior, as the Rita Marley, Marcia Griffiths type. And then beside her is somebody like Lila Ike, who is now, there's some question about her sexual origin right now in the industry. So she's the one beside her. And she's a very talented
Yes.
vocalist.
Yes.
But right now, that is the person that they can find that has risen up to the level vocally beside her. Or the reggae, for example, the foreign festivals, like when the reggae originates out of Jamaica, like when they hear it on the radio, they listen and all the journalists are on social media and something together.
Yeah.
And now, when they are not hearing the proper signals coming out of Jamaica as to who is a dominant, because the reggae king, Bob Marley, was such a legend. And as he died, he has become, as I said, a prophet, and he have all this aura,
Mm.
great aura around him.
Mm.
But the reggae queen, Marcia, is still alive. And as I said, the person who is dominating the reggae scene is not a Jamaican
Yes.
right now. She's called Queen Omega
So
from
yeah.
out of Trinidad.
So
And she's a
yeah.
Rasta,
So
real Rasta woman.
so Vanessa, what you're actually trying to say is that Jamaica has all the opportunities, but each time we are missing the boat along the way.
We are, because we sit down, we have the Minister of Culture, the Ministry of
I
Culture,
don't think she.
and Minister of
I don't
Financial.
think she's that effective anyhow. Still, to be honest with you.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. You
I've
say it,
said
but
it.
I don't want
I've,
to attack
I've,
anybody because we
listen,
want change.
listen, it's not attack. As far as I'm concerned, Jamaica is on a wrong path at present.
Culturally
Yes,
speaking,
culturally
yes,
speaking.
we are on a
Yeah.
wrong path because they mix up the implementation of culture with the them with the implementation of culture, the keeping of events.
Yeah.
They keep lovely events, and yes, it's on a national level. However, we had mentor, we had ska, we had rock steady, we had hip hop. All those genres of music, hip
Mm.
hop is gone to America, have gone. Only reggae is remaining. China has, is it 300 languages, and if one dips, the Chinese government pumps money into that language to keep it afloat, so you don't have language dead. All those genres of reggae music
Yeah.
have gone. And the Minister of Culture still going around keeping our events. She and her friends sit down in our big van, and Mr. and the Prime Minister, Andrew portfolio, and him not think about it like that because he have a wider portfolio.
Mm.
But those who is paying to look about implementation of culture don't see that. The last I went to a club in Jamaica just 2 weeks ago, and them bad bull, I was well dressed and made up, but in somebody juggle, because all I could hear was Afro. Any reggae that is being played is mixed with hip hop or tainted with something. Even the club self down here now
Yes.
are not playing. The one the station RFM will play reggae. They are overwhelmed with the bringing out of new artists because the other radio
Yeah.
stations, because government no.
Yeah.
Listen, Babsy Grange and the Marleys, because the Marleys
Yeah.
looking out for themselves, because they work millions when they're going on shows and they are artists. The part of the thing where them take from Babin is the part where they make money out of. Them never know say Bob was a man we think global. Him think about him people them. Him throw a bomb in a church. Them shoot him past stage. And you just want to come in and want to rowboat now and just roses in and have some brown skin ladies beside you and things. I saw it go. Una go get beat.
Well, I'm gonna dash now, but I want you to say one thing more. What about the alleged discrimination?
Well, I'm glad Ziggy catch up on himself. I'm glad he was given a whipping by that place that tell him you're not welcome, because then he
He
knows
feels it.
what the
Yeah.
average Jamaican is fighting, and because him is a product, you can't too blame him, because I'm kind of grew up in a the time him father set the trend for
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But something did have happened to him father take up as a prophet. And something has happened to Ziggy now. That Ziggy quickly catch up on himself. The rest
Yeah.
of Marleys, the rest of musicians,
Yeah.
yourself, Sylbourne Sidial, you need to have Ziggy and some of the Marleys on the program. We need a proper discussion of the cultural perspective of reggae, the ownership of the land, the musicians and the power that they have in their hand. Because we in Jamaica now, people are come tell you can imagine somebody come tell me said Jamaicans not allowed to go into a resort. Anyway, I would not do what Ziggy is
Well,
doing.
can, well,
He's on the right
well, can
path.
I just say to you that my grandmother and Sidela Booker are cousins, just for the record, and I know Kimani.
Oh, so you are doing what you were born to do because you come from that lineage. You see, when you throw a stone in a pen, is the one that get the weak. Yeah.
So therefore, in wrapping up, this whole when we hear about these discrimination and these what happened to Ziggy, the average Jamaican say, I know nothing new. We used to it. This is normal in Jamaica in the sense whereby discrimination come from all levels. And Gary and I, we spoke about all the fact that when you have all these attack against our fellow Jamaicans, it is our fellow Jamaicans attacking us. They use the state of the arm, state of the of the country, the police, the different authorities. They mash up the food, the tomatoes from the people. They mash up the man them rafts, even though they,
Boss is slave.
you know,
Them called Sister Aisha Bell, artist Aisha Bell, who happens to have a master's in business
yes,
administration, writes songs from a very intellectual perspective. And she have a song that she call him boss is
yes,
slave. And she say like a dog, you're well behaved.
yes.
It's not my song, but I wish it was.
Let's
Because
link me with her so we
yeah,
can get her on
it's
the
a
show. Yeah,
boss is because they are boss is slave, because the Mac Background master put the dress them a certain way. When Bob Marley spoke about Babylon getting into them head, they are programmed.
yes.
And to deprogram people from how they're socialized, is
Mm,
very, very difficult, because right now, Jamaican people don't see dark skinned people owning anything, or dark skinned
mm,
people as being anybody,
mm,
because of the color of our skin, And I'm not racist, because a lot of the people who are very helpful to even us as musicians are people from different cultures and different ethnic
yes.
origins. But I'm just saying, oh, we see ourselves because of slavery. We don't have self-love, so we don't love the next man that look like us.
Gary, say something about that before we wrap up. I mean, Vanessa really touched onto something right that last bit there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would agree with Vanessa 100% that sometimes sometimes or most of the time we are our worst enemies, really. And
Mm,
I think we've just got to support what we do. I mean, when you go abroad, like in the UK, like in America, probably, I don't know, but let's say here in the UK, look how many businesses that black people have and we don't support. So when we go home now, when we're in Jamaica and we go to places and say, well, you're not Jamaican, you're not welcome here. I mean, how is that supposed to be taken?
Yeah, they do it to us. I have been when I came back from England some years ago, because I had lived in England for such a long time, and I went into the workplace. One certain director, she looked at me and said, "Why you don't go back to England? What you doing here?" Even though I am here, and somebody asked me today, what the she said that's some spiritual being asked her, "What am I doing down here so long?" I said, "Excuse me." Them don't know. Or somebody like me feel about my cause. I nearly rude to the person today, but
okay.
But
God put
Vanessa,
me tongue
I
today.
mean, I
Mm,
mean, the thing about it, I used to work for a very I won't say what institution I used to work for, Jamaican institution here in the UK, but,
yes.
but one of my colleagues then he said he went back home and he walked into the main office in in halfway tree, yes, and he overheard one of the receptionists say to the other one, see another mad one I come there.
But you know what it is though?
They,
Because you see in England,
Mm,
they,
the English type of racism is very, very bad against it affect, let me tell you what,
and he's a
because it affects, all right, I'm not saying
mm,
people don't get jobs in they don't get struggles in America and so on,
mm,
but they get better types of job. In England, the racism kind of affect the employment of the person. So people cannot achieve their true potential because there is a lot of covert racism.
It
So
blocks
people
you.
sit down and they meditate it and then start get bipolar, and then the weather, and I mean you can't get any good job, and then the weather not favorable to you. So a lot of people come, a lot of them don't understand that a lot of people come from England. Some of them mad for true, you know, them not
That's true.
them not right
And
because the up the slow type of it kind of them smile with you and ask if you're all right and get them serve the racism behind
Vanessa,
the tea and water.
Vanessa,
So it make you a play. I wonder if I really racist. If racist gets me, and you think you might not play games with it till it just take time, man.
Vanessa,
Gar-
So that's why some of we have to
there's
get out of there, you know, to
Gar-
England there.
there's
Gary,
two
you're saying something.
there's two things, Vanessa. One is that you them walk for us. They're not going nowhere, but then walk for us. And two,
You cool.
and two, it's because of how, let's say, family used to treat them home. For instance, just for argument's sake, there is a gentleman. He's died now, many years back, but I knew him as a boy, where he was in England, send money back to build house or whatever. When
Yeah.
he went back there, no house, and he just went. He just went mad. So back home, people would think that, well, people mad here because of what happened here or so. But it's what happened in a relationship amongst family. What happened
They
home?
hate you.
You see.
They hate Reverend, you're so correct. They hate. I have been through it where I mean I have been bitterly despised by people for wanting to stay in Jamaica or wanting to come to
Mhm.
Jamaica because they said, why would you be building a house here in this hellhole when I want to leave? Because again, they are trained to love the other persons. Let me tell you something about English people. When the Queen had their jubilee the other day,
Mm.
and the Queen died. You see them roll out London Bridge, and I thought, what a fabulous display of English British people letting people know this is our culture, and no one can take it from us. I was so proud of them
Mm.
because if half of us could see our societies and our culture in that positive light.
Mm.
Right now, if our prime minister died, God forbid he's young, but the equivalent of the Queen, I don't think we have any Jamaica Bridge.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
Ashes
Mhm.
dust to that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, let's we call we call it a wrap. Vanessa, listen, that was very intriguing there, and looking at it from different sides. But one of the things that I've been talking about in regarding Jamaica is that I want to start to have some discussions, but the discussions must be divorced from JLP and PNP influence. Mean to say that even if it's a JLP and a PNP person aligned, but the discussion must be at a higher level because we've got to get into this educational route as far as I'm concerned. And on FFBG, I've posted it and said, what are some of the topics? Because what I realize is this: if you start to talk about Jamaica and talk about things, it gets down into JLP, PNP, they lose it because
You lose it as it gets into politics.
nobody can actually be straight, be level-headed, and be objective. They all become subjective, and that is something which I believe is messing up Jamaica big. I long for the day when a politician from either of the parties will go into a community, say they are campaigning without wearing an orange or without wearing a green. And you know why? Because if you go in there to talk to the people, go in there to talk to the people, not to the people who are aligned to your color. Because of
Yeah, because all the culture state going to put them off. So that's
it's gonna put them off.
even though
It's
yeah,
gonna put them off.
because if I see any yellow or green come to my gate, God forbid. I mean,
You just show up your colors a while ago.
like how me a typical Jamaican, I mean, a typical. Let's say, look, if you come to me now, like looking like Reverend in them glasses and him have on him white shirt and thing, and him come and him look decent, or you and your brown jacket,
Yeah.
and say, well, look, the man look decent, or what you have to say? But when you come to me in a tribe, in the color
Exactly.
like the stripe,
That's the point. That's the point.
who from Iglesia, man.
We got to take it to a next level, and of course we're gonna get shut down for these things, but people deep down people are craving for it,
Yeah.
because really and truly, I believe it is a minute percent of Jamaicans or a lower level of Jamaicans who are very tribalistic.
Yes.
I actually believe that, and they are the ones that actually are in the They're the ones that will go and vote out. That is why there was a low percentage of persons who turned out at the last election and stuff like that.
That was not why, Sylbourne.
Yeah.
The last election I was in Jamaica,
Yes.
the state, the COVID, you know, when
COVID.
the Jamaica people like them radio, them liquor box.
Yes.
They the time before the election, you know what they do? When they announce the election, they made an announcement precedent to that the COVID cases were on the rise
Yes.
and that people must not come out because, and then after them tell us that the COVID case, you know, them time the COVID was really wreaking
Yes.
havoc. And then after that, no, then them declare the election
Yes.
under the cover of darkness. Even the public defender was saying at the time that they should try to delay the election because freedom of movement is inhibited. People are scared, the mindset of the people.
Yes.
So that impacted the outturn. And when we woke up the next morning after we were told that we should go under our bed because COVID is at the gate waiting for us, the whole country was green. So I
Wow.
mean, that is that a fair election?
So it go. All right.
I was under my
All right.
bed. I didn't come out. I believe the media.
The
COVID
media.
was going to come and get me.
All right. I'll cut this and post it and say this is a reality. This is what exactly happened.
The boogeyman.
The boogeyman in green came out. Listen, guys.
We have to. No, I was just saying not the boogeyman in green. I was just saying the boogeyman was COVID.
Yeah,
at the time.
that's what I mean. The COVID boogeyman. Yes. COVID,
So
yes.
when we got up the next morning, having hidden from the boogeyman under the bed, the COVID the night before, when we got up the next morning, the whole island had become green.
Yes.
The whole thing.
Yes.
I mean, I wonder how much manpower and you know, I mean, every country has electoral fraud, even in the very first world countries. So in a scenario like that, I hope there was none of that kind of thing when the Ola was. Nobody wasn't watching anybody because the last thing people cared about at that point, they were fighting for their own health
On their life.
and
Yeah.
hearing death in the let alone to come top. I personally didn't
Yeah.
vote because I don't want to go dip my finger on anywhere I'm going to get COVID.
Well, Venice, I want to thank you so much for coming on, and we thank you as much as usual. We need to talk about your music and get that lady there, that lady that you mentioned about that talks about the bossy slave.
Aisha Bell, she's a very brilliant artist, and I will get her to come on your program one of these days. She's called ISHA BEL.
Yes.
Aisha Bell. Yes. So you know her name, and she's on social media. She's a Rasta girl.
No, it's very important. It's very important. We have to go deep to go high. And
all the songs that sister is singing, she's going to be at Yala Sky Fest tomorrow. All the songs that sister is singing is to do with try and make her way the social issues in the society, which are not even songs that people want to hear now, because the IRFM is a reggae machine, is promoting Joshi, Valiant, and all of those artists that don't represent the political and social and thinking side of our people. It's the recreational side. So we need to get IRFM playing a lot more, or not just IRFM, because too much burden is on them. The whole of the stations in Jamaica need to start flooding the conscious reggae in the and the.
There seemed to be a conscious lady, the one who was talking to Ziggy Marley about the beaches.
Kabu, it's Kabu Shinem, I think Kabu. Yes. She's always talking about social issues. Every time you go on, she did play a song and she talks. So she's such an advocate, and I must say, well done to her in how she conducts the music and mixes it with the social issues. You know, she's on point. And for Ziggy, I mean, I might just slap your head and I might make you go home, go think, and I hope I don't cause any divorce or separation in anybody's homes. But big up yourself, Ziggy Marley. You're Jamaican, you're Bob Marley Pickney. And I'm glad you saw the need and know that it is for you now to come and represent from where Bob Marley is. So Ziggy Marley, them bright and faced to come and mess with the Son of God.
Rude and out of order. I was saying to Garry earlier that when I hear that they said Rita Marley go to the place already, it reminds me when a racist person in the UK say I got black friends.
I'm good at lie them and tell you know. Not the good at I go say you know. Rita must lose all her memory.
I do the Wilmot Perkins laugh. All right, well, listen, guys, I'm gonna go.
They should have for Saturday, you know, talk and sit.
We have to touch on some of these things on Saturday.
Let's stay
All right.
Missy.
All right. Peace out, Vanessa. Take care of yourself.
All right, Vanessa, take
Thank
care.
God
you.
bless. Take care,
Bye.
Vanessa. Bye-bye. Bye. Yes, Gary. That was very good. That was a very enlightening bit by Vanessa there that came in and give another
Very interesting. Yes,
perspective to
yes.
the things, and we've got to. I believe very strongly in the whole education bit and to take things to a high level. My thought this morning when I was walking in the park, because I always get these sort of inspiration, and the inspiration I got was when a guy came up to me and said to me, "Are you an influencer?" And I said to him, "What is an influencer?" And he said, "You're an influencer," and he rushed gone. And then I stopped and started to think about it. And then when I said, "What's an influencer is this person that on social media." But then it started to hit me because my phone the other day, when I was about to go out to walk, said in 10 minutes' time it's gonna rain. So my phone was trying to influence me. When you go to the supermarket, the branding experts will put the chocolate and those stuff right there to try to influence you. The news media, CNN, Fox, BBC, whatever, are trying to influence you. Different people are actually out there now on the social media. They just get a camera. They're about 20, they're about like half of our age or less. They're trying to influence you. So therefore, I had to draw the conclusion that I've got to influence as well. We have to actually make sure that because Gary, there's so many stinking thinkings, out there. So many stinking thinking or stinking which are stinking, which we don't agree with these thinkings. We don't agree with, and if we allow it to remain, then what happens is that, hang on a second, we're going to find ourselves reaching to the state, and I'm going to say, how did we reach here? So therefore, we have a duty to influence our sphere of influence. So for that gentleman who approached me and I said, no, yes, I'm an influencer because we not agree with enough things that are going on in the world, and we have to say something about it till Jesus come.
Yes, yes,
Yes. All right, Gary.
all right, then, my
Yeah.
my friend.
Yeah.
We'll we'll see you later then.
We'll see you later. You stay put. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you, Michelle. Thank you for different persons. Thank you those on Instagram, and thank you those on TikTok. Actually, I got TikTok there, which is going on. Um, it's a very interesting show, a very interesting discussion. Points to be pontificate, well, to think about, and to all the people on FFBJ, you see what I'm talking about here, and how something can be done to create these sort of discussions and to take things to the next level. So without further ado, I want to thank you so much. And Saturday night talk and sip. I think I might have a friend from the States who may come on to talk about something about Africa. I think a conscious show. So I'll reach out to him to see if he can make it as well. I don't want to say his name until we can confirm that. So yeah, so tune into that as well, and have a good night and bless you. Thank you, Michelle. Let me see if I can get rid of this, get rid of that. This is some music, and then we finish.